I'm Dr. John Gartner.
And I'm Dr. Harry Segal.
And welcome to this preview of Shrinking Trump.
It's a show that's launched every week where we look at Trump's cognitive decline as well as his severe personality disorder as a way of trying to educate the public and maybe, in fact, the press.
So today, this week, when Trump was speaking in Nevada, his teleprompter broke. And we got to see how the mind of Trump really works unexpurgated.
And it must be because of MIT, my relationship to MIT. Very smart. He goes, I say, what would happen if the boat sank from its weight and you're in the boat and you have this tremendously powerful battery and the battery's now underwater and there's a shark that's approximately 10 yards over there. By the way, a lot of shark attacks lately. Do you notice that? A lot of shark. I watched some guys justifying it today. Well, they weren't really that angry. They bit off the young lady's leg because of the fact that they were not hungry, but they misunderstood who she was. These people are crazy. He said there's no problem with sharks. They just didn't really understand a young woman swimming now really got decimated, and other people too. A lot of shark attacks. So I said, so there's a shark 10 yards away from the boat, 10 yards, or here. Do I get electrocuted? If the boat is sinking, water goes over the battery, the boat is sinking. Do I stay on top of the boat and get electrocuted? Or do I jump over by the shark and not get electrocuted? Because I will tell you, he didn't know the answer. He said, nobody's ever asked me that question. I said, I think it's a good question. I think there's a lot of electric current coming through that water. But you know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time. I'm not getting near the shark. So we're going to end that. We're going to end it for boats. We're going to end it for trucks.
So this is nuts, right? This rant is completely off the hook. It's filled with all kinds of wild fantasies. It doesn't make sense. And this is what happens when Trump goes off the teleprompter.
Yeah, and it's you can see how he's circling around certain ideas that come in, but he doesn't really have the ability to organize what he's thinking and then present a coherent story or sentence, which really any politician can do when the teleprompter goes off. I mean, Bill Clinton was famously able to do a whole speech without it, just from riffing. I'm sorry, go ahead, John.
Well, and one of the things we pointed out in the show is, even as he's blabbering in this incomprehensible way, he's bragging that he's related to a professor from MIT, and this is such a brilliant question that he's asking. The guy said, well, no one's ever asked me that question. Well, of course they haven't, because it's a crazy question, but he's vaunting it as some sort of brilliant insight. And this is one of the things that he does very, very well. He really manages to make dementia look cool. He has all these wild, perambulated, confabulated, nonsensical stories, and then he compliments himself on what a great job he's doing in being so insightful and brilliant.
Well, John, bravado will take you very far with certain audiences.
It certainly will. And apparently it takes you very far with the mainstream media, too, who are really doing nothing about reporting on Trump's mental state. But we like to point out both the good reporters and the bad reporters, and we want to compliment Eugene Robinson in the Washington Post, who commented on this speech. Can we see Robinson wrote, the White House press corps would be in wolf pack mode if Biden were in the middle of a speech and suddenly veered into gibberish about boats and sharks. There would be front page stories questioning whether the president at 81 was suffering from dementia. And the op-ed pages would be filled with thumbsuckers about whether Vice President Harris and the cabinet should invoke the 25th Amendment. House Republicans would already have scheduled hearings on Biden's mental condition and demanded he take a cognitive test. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. The press has been gaslighting us. This is the reason that we're doing this show. They've been gaslighting us by telling us a double lie. They've been pathologizing Biden's signs of normal aging and normalizing Trump's flagrant signs of dementia, like we just saw. This is the reason programs like ours and programs like MeidasTouch need to exist. Sadly, if you want to know the truth, You can't get it from the mainstream media. I sometimes liken our show, Harry, to the radio-free Europe of psychiatry, because it's the only place you can hear mental health professionals honestly discuss these issues. So if you want to hear more, folks, you'll have to tune into our show, Shrinking Trump.
You can search for it in any search engine, Shrinking Trump. It's also on the Really American Network. They are our host. And we drop our show every Friday at 3 o'clock. And we hope you'll tune in and tell your friends.